Good morning, everybody. It's Steve Brown from Mirae Asset Securities, Mirae Asset Live. Joining us today, we have Mr. Tanveer Gill, Head of Corporate Institutional Capital at Masan. Tanveer, it's great to have you back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
And it's been a wonderful year for Masan as well.
Yeah, I think 2021 turned out pretty okay considering how things were tough in the world. I think our businesses did pretty well.
Yes. In fact, some parts of your business have been spectacularly successful, given this last year we had stay at home, work from home. A lot of the city and other cities in Vietnam under social lockdown for safety with COVID. But some of your numbers, particularly Q4 2021, were quite outstanding. We'll touch on those. The business momentum will therefore now be driving forward, I'd assume, for your forecast for 2022 targets as well. So we'll touch on those throughout the divisions of the business. And if you'd like to just start with the group results, I think would be a good idea, because the financial results for 2021 showed that the company also was able to successfully once again attract foreign institutional investor interest in the company, even in the depths of COVID. So I'll hand the mic to you and let us know your highlights.
Thanks, Stephen. I agree. 2021 was a bit tough, especially for the global economy, especially for Vietnam. I think third quarter was really tough for businesses within the country, for consumers. A lot of people call it, I would say, the lost quarter, in terms of how tough the restrictions were. But in spite of that, considering the strength of brands that Masan has built over the last 20 years, our Masan consumer business did very well. Both our seasonings business, our convenience foods business, all the new verticals that we've gone into, especially home and personal care, processed meat. So 20-odd% growth in a year like 2021, I would say, is a pretty good marker to have. As far as WinCommerce is concerned, our modern retail business, we've been able to really, I would say, nail the model down in terms of what model do we need for us to now expand going forward. So 2021 for us was the time where we wanted to make sure that the business turned profitable before we started to expand again. I think third quarter of 21, we were able to deliver for the first time ever, positive net profits for that business. And the fourth quarter, we were able to open more than 387 stores. And then from this year onwards, 2022, now that we've got the mechanics right of that business, we will look to expand that business in terms of store count, in terms of offering consumers more products and services. And also, we're really building what you would call a CV life model. CV life stands for convenient life. It's basically consumers can walk into our WinCommerce stores and not just have grocery, but have tea and coffee, basic financial services, going forward, maybe even a small pharmacy. And we want to bring that all together through our telecom brand, Reddy, so that we can give people digital products, digital services going forward. Masan Meat Life, I think, again, had a very good year. In Masan Meat Life, we were able to spin off our feed business and make it a purely branded meat business. Techcombank, as you know, continues to do very well, very good asset quality, very good net interest margins. And last but not the least, MHT, our mining business as well, our high-tech chemicals business, again had a very good year. The commodity prices have been up. The business has really evolved from being a mining business to, I would say, a downstream high-tech minerals kind of a business. And as a result, MHT also delivered profitability for the full year. So again, I would say, to put it in one line, I know 2021 was tough for the global economy, but I guess the strength of our business has really helped us to turn it around. And if I'm not wrong, we were able to grow our profits nearly like 6x compared to last year.
Yeah, you had a tremendous result last year. That also transitions into the next question. Your company is now truly on the radar internationally from sovereign funds worldwide. The most recent one is from the Middle East now as well, the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. So they too are looking at the Vietnam consumer story as possibilities, and you were the go-to investment of choice for them recently. Where you have the vision now for the retail consumer point of life that you just referred to. When we last spoke, soon after your AGM last year, you were talking about the potential for between 10 and up to 30,000 combined internal stores and franchisee stores. This year coming, where do you think both of those targets will be, say for internal Winmart, mini-marts, and then also for the target for the franchisees?
I think, as I said, right, like 2021 was the time for us to get the model right first. And in the fourth quarter of last year, we were able to open more than 380 odd stores. So for this year, as far as the self-owned, self-operated mini markets are concerned, the aim would be to open anywhere between 500 to 1,000 new mini markets. We are on pace to do that. We can do even more, but I think for us, it's very important that we want to expand our footprint, we want to expand our revenue, but we want to do that profitably. So the question is not, can we open 1,000 stores or 1,500 stores? The question is, how many stores can we open, but at the same time still be profitable? So that's the biggest, I would say, balancing act that we need to ensure going forward. As far as the supermarkets are concerned, I think we are again looking at opening potentially 10 to 20 more supermarkets this year. And the franchisee model, I believe, has a lot of potential for Vietnam. I think in the last 2 years, as you've seen how the general trade has been affected because of COVID, and now you see a significant acceleration of modern trade, of online channels happening in Vietnam. So we believe this is a great way for us to expand the footprint for our WinCommerce locations without having to do the capital expenditure ourselves. So the aim is to build these franchisee stores which look exactly the same as our own self-owned and operated mini markets, but at the same time also give the mom and pop retailers, the general trade, also an opportunity to participate in this growth that that the economy in Vietnam itself is seeing.
Yes, yeah, and the product mix, the SKUs and so on, some of them have had very good growth last year, and then you're also broadening your home care portfolio.
Correct.
And you just mentioned you'll also be looking potentially now, after incorporating Phuc Long into your Vinmart Plus, to also incorporating a small pharmacy for OTC pharmacy products as well. I think that's a fantastic idea for the company. The whole bringing together the consumer wallet share, presently it's mostly a offline story, but you've also now recently bought into a company, strategic investment in Ready, haven't you? Can you explain how Ready is positioned to help bring that all together for you?
If you look at Masan Consumer, I mean, we are the market leader in seasonings, one of the largest players in convenience foods. We have a growing franchise in beverages, in home and personal care. We recently entered. If you look at Phuc Long, one of the top 3 tea and coffee brands in the country. If you look at WinCommerce, so on a daily basis, all the brands that Masan has, have millions of interactions with millions of consumers in Vietnam. But predominantly, these interactions are offline. So the aim is to convert a lot of these consumers from an offline channel to an online channel. And that is where Mobicast with its brand Ready comes in. So Mobicast is basically a mobile virtual network operator, and they have their brand Ready. So when a consumer, let's say, goes into a WinCommerce store and buys grocery and buys their daily needs, what they consume on a daily or weekly basis. So rather than giving them, for example, let's say cashback, for that cashback, that kind of amount, we can also give them a SIM card from Ready. That's how we convert consumers from offline to online channels. Once they are in our online ecosystem, we will continue to provide them with, I would say, unmatchable offers. For example, if you go to Techcombank, you get better privileges, better services. You go to WinCommerce, you get more discounts. You go to Phuc Long, you get better vouchers. So the aim will be to continue to provide consumers an integrated loyalty platform, and basically to be able to increase the engagement time that consumers have with our brands. The next step for us would be then to look at all the data that we generate through these online interactions, add, I would say, the ability to crunch big data within Masan's ecosystem, and then be able to provide consumers with the next generation of digital products, digital services, which I believe would be the next, if you can say, the next transformational growth area for Masan over the next 2 to 3 years.
And that will probably also include things such as financial services, because you are a substantial shareholder of Techcombank
Correct.
as well, so you can easily draw upon their whole suite of service offerings.
Correct.
I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as the growth targets go, if we just start to look at the various silos and divisions of the business, Win Commerce, you're looking at targeted growth for this year, 20 to 30%, which is quite remarkable. Where do you see that coming from and why?
Win Commerce, if you look at again 2021, our top line was nearly 30.9 trillion VND. We were not able to open as many stores as we would have wanted to in 2021 because of course, COVID-related restrictions. So this year, as I mentioned earlier, now that we've got the model right, this year the aim would be to open anywhere between 500 to maybe more than 1,000 stores as far as our mini markets are concerned. We would also look to open another 20 to 30 Winmart supermarkets, and we're also piloting the franchise model. So we have about 2-3 franchisees operational as of now, and we're trying to understand, work with them, and learn more as to what is the best model, how we can continue to expand the franchisee side of the business as well. So new store expansion, what we call like-for-like stores growth in terms of these stores just being able to service a lot more consumers, sell a lot more products. So I think those are the two biggest areas, in addition to the CV Life concept that we are continuing to build out. So CV Life, I believe, has significant potential in terms of not just improving revenue growth, but at the same time also improving profitability of our existing stores and our new stores as well. So as I mentioned earlier, right? I mean, the focus for us is we want to grow top line, we want to grow number of stores, but we want to do it profitably.
Sure, sure. And Masan Consumer, any particular SKUs, products that you're particularly proud of with last year's numbers?
I think about 2 to 3 years ago, especially in our convenience food segment, we were making instant noodles which are sold in pouch format. So just instant noodle with some basic seasonings inside. And 2 to 3 years ago, we really made a pivot towards making a lot more of what you call full meal solutions, home meal replacements. And I think that really helped us in the last couple of years as people could not go out, as people had to stay home. And of course, we were investing in the right kind of marketing, advertising campaigns and so on. So that segment for us has really took off in the last couple of years. I think today it's like one of the fastest growing areas that we have within our consumer ecosystem, and especially within our convenience foods portfolio. And we also believe that this is literally just the start of that segment, and we expect significant growth from that segment over the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. And next one, Masan Meat Life. Being a family man, parent, and 2 children, my wife, she shops almost daily now at the Winmart Plus store because
Great.
The variety is expanding.
Yes.
The chilled meats on offer of a standard of any of the top tier supermarkets in Vietnam, and the product range there, you're looking at up to, according to your strategy report here, up to 45% growth.
Correct.
So that's probably indicative of a lot of people who live in apartment complex towers who
Yes.
find your service offerings good enough to just quickly go there, buy those. But then I asked you last time about providing your competitors as well. This revenue number growth forecast target that you've got of up to 45%, it's actually the best one in your whole spectrum of divisions of operation. For what it is, like cold chicken and pork and so on.
Yes.
I think it's a standout.
Yes.
It shouldn't be overlooked because it's the everyday consumer staple.
Correct.
And you're doing it really, really well.
Correct.
Any other areas of meat that you're looking at offering up? Beef, perhaps?
I think for us, for the next, at least for this year, we really focused on pork and chicken for now. I mean, if you look at in the last 3 to 4 years, we've really built an entire value chain to provide these kind of products. When consumers go to a store, when they see a meat deli product, there's a lot of work which has gone behind building that kind of a value chain and being able to provide you a product which stays chilled, it's never frozen, it never goes to room temperature, which is why it has a certain shelf life. And because the entire value chain is taken care of, whether it's the best kind of animals, whether it's the best kind of feed, whether it's the best technology available in the world, the right kind of distribution systems, which is what all gets together for you to go to a supermarket and see that product for yourself. So I think for the next 6-12 months, and maybe a bit longer, we will continue to focus on pork and chicken for now. We believe there is a significant amount of opportunity there. Even today in Vietnam, I think more than 95-96% of meat consumed is bought from general trade, is bought from wet markets, where the quality, traceability, safety is a big concern for consumers. And as Vietnam, evolves, as people's disposable incomes go up, people will definitely look towards a much more safer, traceable option, and which I think is where Meat Deli perfectly fits in. The partnership, or the partnership that we have with WinCommerce, for example, is another big area for us to grow. Today, in a WinCommerce store, typically more than 70% of the meat, especially in pork and chicken, which is sold, comes from our own Meat Deli franchise. There's significant amounts of synergies between our Meat Deli business and our WinCommerce business. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we believe there's significant amount of potential there for this business to ramp up.
From personal observation and going on corporate access tours, your Masan Meat Life offering is very Western, very developed market. Some of your competitors, they are trying to do the hybrid wet market and modern trade, modern convenience store format. I think your display and presentation is what is, in my opinion, the very attractive option, rather than seeing like fish tanks full of fish taking up display space. And the chilled meat looks, in my opinion and my wife's, quite the preferable option. But moving on now to Masan high-tech materials. Again, you've had some huge interest there, and you've had the sale and engagement with HC Stark as well. How's that all going now, that part of the business?
The reason why we wanted to acquire HC Stark was we wanted to move away from just being a pure mining business to a mid to downstream high-tech value-added chemicals kind of a business. I think that acquisition has been validated by the fact that in 2021, profitability at HC Stark went up. Consolidated profitability at MHT went up. Of course, it's helped by the fact that commodity prices like tungsten and copper were also up last year. But I think over the last 3 to 4 years, the fact that we're trying to build a fully integrated value chain and move away from being a pure mining business to a downstream high-tech value-added business has really helped that business to be able to weather, I would say, some of the storms of cyclical commodity prices and so on. And we will continue to move towards that. We'll continue to look at how we can get even closer to industrial consumers and be able to produce further, I would say, specialty chemicals, specialty alloys, specialty minerals, so that going forward, the products that MHT sells are sold based on the brand name, based on the quality of the products, and not based on what tungsten or copper price is. So we're really trying to, we're really trying to decommoditize the impact of commodity prices on this business and make it a lot more sustainable, profit-generating business over a long term.
Sure, yeah. Branding a commodity, if you can do it, it can be very profitable. Argyle diamonds is, one of those style of commodities where the brand can give a premiumization to the price. Talking about premiumization, and the price of coffee in Vietnam is economical for most people, but there are some places that are more expensive than Phuc Long, and Phuc Long is now an integral part of the company as well, and it's being integrated and embedded very successfully into your Vinmart Plus convenience stores as well. You've also now recently acquired majority control of that business as well, so I'll leave it to you to update everyone on that.
Sure. I mean, we started off last year by acquiring a 20% stake in that business. We've seen a significant amount of synergy between Phuc Long, coffee business, and of course our Vinmart Plus and Vinmart, mini markets and supermarkets. This year we've gone ahead and acquired control of Phuc Long, and going forward it will continue to be one of the anchor brands, in addition to, of course, grocery. So the whole philosophy is when a consumer goes into a grocery store or Vinmart Plus, if they have the ability to also buy a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and at the same time be able to do their grocery shopping, then that's a big, big plus. So it helps us to sell more products to consumers. And at the same time, now we're looking to expand that concept. So go from grocery, then to tea and coffee, and then going forward, potentially having a small Techcom Bank counter within the Vinmart Plus store, and potentially look at a small pharmacy. And as I mentioned earlier, tied all together with digital services through Ready. But yes, I think we're very, very excited and very privileged to be a partner with the Phuc Long, especially what they've been able to achieve in the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years. Today, they are one of the top 3 tea and coffee brands in the country. Also helps them a lot. Rather than opening flagship stores, which requires a lot of capital investment, they can expand to all parts of Vietnam through our WinCommerce ecosystem by opening small kiosks within these locations.
Next question on that. Do you plan to also put those into the franchisee stores?
Yes. For us, going forward, when you go to a store, you would not be, as a consumer, you would not be able to tell the difference.
You want the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. You would not be able to say that this is a franchisee or this is a company-operated store. They will both look, feel the same. They will have the same kind of products. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a way for us to expand WinCommerce network, involve general trade, give them also an opportunity to grow with us, and at the same time being able to provide multiple services to consumers through what we call a one-stop solution, basically.
I think that's a very good idea, because a lot of the traditional mom and pop shop house style stores, they presently don't sell coffee. They usually just sell all the dry goods, and then some refrigerated products and ice creams and soft drinks and so on. And so being able to integrate everything that you will see in a Vinmart or Vinmart Plus store now for a franchisee, I think will incentivize the footfall to come to those as well. So I think that's a great idea. The wrap-up question that I've got for you, your plans for the integration of all of the products that you've mentioned, Techcom Bank and pharmacy. Last one is dairy. A lot of people are asking me, when will they do milk? Is that still just being strategized? You're happy to fill the shelves with Vinny milk and all the others out there, the TH True milk, because you'll have a 20 to 30,000 store rollout possibility with a Masan branded product. And I'm sure, Dr. Quang and your colleagues are probably thinking this would be a fantastic inclusion one day.
I mean, I agree with the thesis. It's just that, first of all, we believe there are already some really good companies doing, a very good job as far as the milk category is concerned. Number one. Number two, Masan Consumer already has a couple of products in that segment, so we're trying to do it in an organic way. Number three, I think going forward, especially for WinCommerce, it could make sense for them to have a private label kind of a portfolio as far as milk products are concerned. But for us, I think as of today, we're not looking to any significant M&A, or we're not looking to any significant partnership as far as that part of the business is concerned. As I mentioned earlier, for us now that we have an entire ecosystem of brands and services geared towards consumers, The next step for Masan would be to make this consumer business into a consumer tech business. So the focus for us would be now to add a layer of tech on top of all these brands we have, and not basically take a step back, but actually try and take a step up and really being able to build a consumer tech ecosystem.
As opposed to consumer cow. For now. Okay. Well, Tanveer, as always, thank you very much for joining us on Mirae Asset Live, and have a wonderful, successful 2022. I think you're definitely on the right path. You've survived the COVID-19 pandemic better than most of the listed companies in the VN30, and wish you every success for the rest of the year. Steve Brown from Mirae Asset Securities with Mr. Tanveer Gill, Head of Institutional Capital from Masan. Have a good day.